Capacity Auctions. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome for the first time. You will find all kinds of fundraising ideas, tips, tricks, things to help you with fundraising and fundraising events. I'm a charity auctioneer and my passion is fundraising, and I love sharing my knowledge with you so that your organization can make more money so that you can do more good in the world. That's my goal in life. Very, very simple. Today's video is all about the best fundraising podcasts and what I'm currently listening to. So with that, let's pop right into the video. Podcasts are super duper hot right now. They're one of the most popular mediums for information across all generations. So you have your older generations down to your millennials, and there are podcasts for everything, every niche, including fundraising. Now, I'm a podcastaholic, and I have been basically since podcasts came out about 10 years ago. I listen to podcasts in my car, while I'm cooking, while I'm cleaning, while I'm putting my makeup on, while I fall to sleep. Basically, I'm an addict. I probably listen to 4 or 5 a day, and I'm always searching for the next best podcast. I have some great fundraising podcasts for you to listen to, and some other ones that are very, very useful for the fundraising world, but you wouldn't think of them as a fundraising podcast. So let's jump in. And these are in no particular order. I am not sponsored by any of these podcasts. I'm just gonna get on my phone and I will show you. Okay, so we're gonna start here. So if you don't listen to podcasts, listening to podcasts is so super duper easy. All you have to do is pull up the podcast app. It comes free on all Apple phones. So you pull up that one and you can search for whatever you want. So I'm gonna go to my podcast, and you can see I have a ton of podcasts and I listen to almost all of them regularly. So we are gonna start at the beginning and in no particular order. The first podcast I wanna talk to you about is Successful Nonprofits Radio. So this podcast is hosted by Dolph Goldenberg of the Goldenberg Group, and he is a great interviewer. So he does a ton of research on his guests beforehand and asks them really great, interesting questions. It's a really interesting dialogue between Dolph, who's also a fundraising professional, and his guests. Excuse that indigestion. The next podcast that we should talk about is the Nonprofit Ally. The Nonprofit Ally, I'm probably gonna mess up my phone again. Oh no, it actually, my camera worked okay. So the Nonprofit Ally, I really, really like. I forget the host's name, but he has some really good episodes. Some of them are using an impact funnel to market your nonprofit, better meetings, how to build relationships with everybody, building capacity with the logic model, insider tips from a professional grant writer, and crowdfunding. So I really, really love the Nonprofit Ally. It digs really, really, really deep into one specific area. And I find that really interesting because I'm really, really, really good in one specific area of fundraising. But for example, I don't know anything about grant writing. Nonprofits Are Messy with Joan Gary. Amazing, amazing podcast. Joan is also a phenomenal interviewer. It's more of a conversation. She's a nonprofit consultant. She brings on some top tier fundraising professionals and asks them really, really good questions. I always learn something from Nonprofits Are Messy. So recent episodes that I've really enjoyed are What the Heck is Marketing Anyway? Stop Asking Your Board to Fundraise with Gail Perry. Small but Mighty Nonprofits. Successful Nonprofit Collaborations. Confessions of a Terrible Board Member. This was one of my favorite episodes. This is Joan's wife or partner. I'm not sure if they're married, but whatever, we're gonna call her wife. And she admitted she was a terrible board member, and Joan asked her all these questions about like, what was it like? Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous episode. Highly recommend that. Tony Martignetti, I think it is, Nonprofit Radio. Great podcast. He talks a lot about technology. He has like a whole series from the Nonprofit Technology Conference I find really interesting. I really like the episode Don't Burn Out in 2017, News from Accounting, Grow Your Sustainer Revenue, Successful Tech Projects. So Tony's really big on Twitter like big, like he really likes enjoying it. He's on Twitter all the time. So if you tweet Tony, he'll totally tweet you back. What's up, Tony? So the next podcast is the Giving Back podcast. So the Giving Back podcast, if I could talk, that'd be awesome. The Giving Back podcast is really fantastic. It's all about really wonderful nonprofits. I love that one. And because my battery's gonna die, I'm gonna get to my new favorite, which is Cause Talk Radio. Oh my God, this one's so fabulous. This is all about big brands and the nonprofits they've partnered with to fund really, really big issues.